victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Left the building.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency.
What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
We have a president who actually fulfilled the promises he made during the campaign. Securing the border to foreign policy.
He now has a record as president that's pretty damn impressive.
Breaking news out of Palm
The
Beach,
FBI has executed an unprecedented search warrant at President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The president has both sides of the political aisle up
is
in
a
arms.
dangerous and unstable moment in American history.
The Justice Department has just indicted former President Donald Trump.
For 7 years, they hated him, they targeted him, they hunted him.
This is the epitome of the abuse of the prosecutorial power to preempt political decisions.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. America will always rise to every challenge and overcome every danger.
Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged. These types of things, I think, give him strength.
When I'm reelected, I will totally obliterate the deep state. As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, then we will not fail.
So, hope you caught the last 4 seconds of that. Where he said, and I'll repeat, if I get elected, I shall obliterate the deep state. Is that what we're going to see today? Are we going to begin to see Nessen Dorma actually take place? I don't know. I think just like me, everybody's been clicking the reset button, just clicking and seeing, when's he going to refresh. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm about to show you. But before I get into the show, I just wanted to let you guys, well, not guys, all you ladies know, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to every single one of you. I hope you had a great, fantastic Mother's Day. I hope they took you out to breakfast, and I hope the daughters and sons made lunch, and you just had a fantastic day. The grandkids, everything. Hope you guys had a fantastic day. I don't think enough people in today's day and age, and in fact, of course, in the Democrat Party, pay enough attention to moms and all the things that they're trying to do to detract from moms, to make a mother and father seem insignificant. Everything that they're doing to try and denigrate motherhood and fatherhood and parenthood overall, I think is going to be the doom of them, because they're the most two important people in your life, and they have been the most important people in your life your entire life. And I hope you've had a great relationship, and if you didn't, you hope you had time to, rekindle and get things right before one or two of them passed on. But happy Mother's Day. That being said, got a whole bunch of breaking news here. One of them, I don't know if it's breaking news. So let's cover this first before we get into the money part. So I just refreshed just to see if anything has happened. Not yet. You guys are like, what the heck is Barry talking about? All right, so going into today, it was pretty quiet until such time as President Trump started, posting stuff. And as he was posting stuff, you heard that Scott Bessent and Jameson, I think Jameson Greer, I believe his name is, and they started announcing a bunch of things were happening with China. But as they were talking about that, President Trump was putting other stuff out. So let me just give you a quick walk down memory lane if you haven't seen this. This came out at 1:03 p.m. Now you have to understand the deliberateness with President Trump and how he communicates. So see this. It says our country has been invaded in big letters. I'm going to tell you what the importance of that is in a second. By 21 million newcomers. I'm on YouTube, so I got to play by their rules. Many of whom are murderers and criminals of the highest order, and if we aren't allowed to remove them because of a radicalized and incompetent court system, the USA will quickly and violently become a crime-ridden third world nation, never to see greatness again. Our lawyers should state this fact when going before the United States Supreme Court and all other courts. I was elected in a landslide. We won all 7 swing states, as you know, and we also won the popular vote. I must be allowed to do the job that I was elected to do. If not, we won't have a country anymore. Make America great again. Notice the first sentence. He put invaded in big words. I don't know if it was his intention, because I cannot put words in his mouth, but the ramifications of that is being able to declare a national emergency and say that we were invaded and use that as his trigger to do all the stuff that would happen if the United States was invaded, which I do believe we were. So he's telling everybody, again, he's been saying it. You've seen the Andrew Jackson stuff. It's been talked about. Remember, it's under consideration. And I almost took this as the last warning. Like tick-tock. Tick-tock. All right, so he puts this out. Then he follows up with this post. In just 3 months, trillions of dollars and therefore record numbers of jobs have been pouring into the USA. This is because of my tariff policy and our great November 5th election win. The very stupid Democrats are doing everything within their power to disparage what is happening. They are totally unhinged and have lost all levels of confidence It is a final revolution, and they are being crushed. Now, we're going to talk about the deal that supposedly has been struck at this point. But another part of this is, I believe, and I have said here on this channel a few times, that I think President Trump not only is in a position to win and make deals and to make America great again, I personally believe President Trump is in a position to put his boot on the neck of the Democrat Party and stomp them out. And I don't mean physically, I'm not talking about hurting anybody, but I'm saying make this party irrelevant, make this party almost non-existent anymore. Just completely take them out. Take every angle of what they do and shred it. Don't let them control voting machines. Don't let them control the courts. Just take everything away from them. And so, as I refresh again, because I'm going to have to keep refreshing to see if anything else, then at, let's see here, 2 hours ago, at 2:30 or so, he dropped this. And this has got people across the internet, across countries, nations, are like, uh-oh, what's about to happen? Well, this is what he posted at 2:30. My next truth, which is what they call what he posts on Truth Social, will be one of the most important and impactful I have ever issued. Enjoy. And now everybody's just sitting here going, swipe, 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 refresh, refresh, refresh. What is he talking about? Is it Nessen Dorma time? Is it time to throw down and do what he needs to do to save America? And, you know, the Democrats are going to whine. They're going to scream. At this point, we know it doesn't matter what he does. They're going to scream. They're going to moan. They're going to run in the streets. Everything. We already know that. Don't be surprised if they do. See, they're surprised. The reason why I played the Nessen Dorma clip is it had that scene from July 13th. And it had scenes of them kicking in the doors at Mar-a-Lago. And it had scenes of him sitting through courtroom after courtroom and being arrested in mugshots. And now you see Democrats beginning to whine, cry. Oh, he's going after his opponents. He's going to seek retribution. Let me ask you something, Democrats. What do you expect a man to do when you did all of that and tried to kill him a couple times? Did you think he would just say, okay, it's part of the deal. I'm a president. I'm a formidable opponent. I'll sit back and let you guys do this. Did you not hear any of the speeches throughout his campaign? Did you not hear what I just said? And I just played in that intro. When he said, and it was recorded, he didn't hide it, if I get elected, I am going to obliterate the deep state. He spoke those words into existence. Did you think he was bluffing? I was talking to Robin this morning. I'm like, if anybody put me through what they put him through, and I had the chance to even the score, you're damn right I would. I don't even know why they're surprised. Any single one of us, if somebody did everything that he went through to someone, you or someone you love, you're damn right we're going to take retribution. You should be running and hiding. You should be getting out of town. Going on CNN or MSNBC is not going to help you. You know what else isn't going to help you? Going to ICE detention centers and trying to kick your way into those and abusing government employees, armed government employees. It's coming. Whether he drops it today or whether he drops it next week or whether he drops it, next month, it's coming. Don't be surprised. Us here on the right, MAGA, not Republicans, you got to know it's coming. It is absolutely coming. They're the ones who are trying to paint it as retribution. They're the ones who are trying to take, he's being vengeful. Yeah. I think it's time for everybody to stop worrying about what they're thinking about retribution. If they say he's going after his political opponents, nod. You're damn right. You're absolutely right. There's two things he said in that last video. And he said this a lot of times. I'm just in their way. They really want to come after you. And you heard Kamala Harris, and you heard everything they've said. You heard what Biden said, what they've been trying to do. He's exactly right. So retribution for him is retribution for you. They're coming for you. And so when I see the moves that he's making, and I heard the consideration of habeas, suspending habeas, I thought to myself, yeah, I voted for that. You took a shot at this man, and by the grace of God, his head didn't splatter all over television. You tried to take his property. You went after his friends, his family, his employee, everything you could possibly do to a man. Except for, like, I don't know, nail him to a cross, but you probably would have done that if you could have got away with it. So just think. If somebody does that to you, and I know there's biblical out there's statements where people say you got to forgive. I can forgive, but I'm not going to forget, and I'm going to make sure you don't do it again. I'm going to make sure that you and none of your cronies ever have the power to do that again. And I think that's Nessen Dorma getting ready to play out here. I mean, it looks... I mean, I'm going to go on. SV, if you could keep refreshing and let me know or text me should something pop. I'd love to see it. Let's see here. I love this. Cat Turd put it up and SV just sent me. This is exactly what has happened. People hitting refresh on Trump's page right now. Foe and friend alike are like, OMG, what's about to happen? We don't know. But it is going to happen, and something. None of us knows what the answer is. None of us knows what is actually going to be said. But something's going to get posted, and they're acting like they know what's coming. I mean, they're freaking out so bad about what's coming. All right, so let me get into what happened with Scott Bessent and the negotiations with China. Now, if you haven't, maybe you want to pause this video and log on to wherever you trade and start putting your buy orders in. I'm telling you, right now, start putting your buy orders in. Things are going to go crazy, absolutely nuts. And I would hate to see you not be in a position to take care of some things. So let me show you this. This is... let me get to this. Okay, news. All right. I want to read this to you. And this is the information on the deal that is being announced, has been announced. And it's U.S. announces China trade deal in Geneva, Switzerland. Secretary of State Scott Bessent says, I'm happy to report that we made substantial progress between the United States and China in the very important trade talks. First, I want to thank our Swiss host. The Swiss government has been very kind in providing us this wonderful venue, and I think this has led to great productivity that we've seen. We will be giving details tomorrow. So they're going to wait until tomorrow. When everything's open, when everything's back in session, they're going to give out the details tomorrow. But I can tell you that the talks were very productive. We had the vice premier, two vice ministers who were integrally involved, Ambassador Greer Jameson, and myself, and I spoke to President Trump, as did Ambassador Jameson last night, and he is fully informed of what's going on, so there will be a complete briefing tomorrow morning. So that's a way for me to segue and tell you, I don't know when, but I'm sure about 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to get the email or the text that says, oh, you got a briefing tomorrow morning. And that briefing is going to be bombastic because the press will have nothing to say. These stupid idiots have spent, the last couple of weeks saying, oh, it's low-hanging fruit. The UK deal wasn't a big deal. And Trump this and Trump that. Oh. And now they're going to do the same thing about China. Oh, China ripped us off. They beat Trump. Just expect it. Meanwhile, watch happens with your money, because it's going to take off. So let's listen to what Scott Bessent said today.
And I think that led to a great deal of the productivity we've seen. We will be giving details tomorrow, but I can tell you that the talks were productive. We had the vice premier, 2 vice ministers who were integrally involved, Ambassador Jameson and myself, and I spoke to President Trump, as did Ambassador Jameson last night, and he is fully informed of what is going on. So there will be a complete briefing tomorrow morning.
I want to echo the Secretary's remarks with respect to the Swiss government. They've been so welcoming, and they've hosted this, and everything has gone off flawlessly, and we appreciate that. And again, to the Chinese negotiators, Vice Premier Liu He, Vice Minister Li Qiangong, and Vice Minister Liao Min, worked very diligently, and these are very tough negotiators. A couple of them I know from before and have had past interactions with them. And this was, as the Secretary pointed out, a very constructive 2 days. It's important to understand how quickly we were able to come to agreement, which reflects that perhaps the differences were not so large as maybe thought. That being said, there was a lot of groundwork that went into these 2 days. Just remember why we're here in the first place. The United States has a massive $1.2 trillion trade deficit. So the president declared a national emergency and imposed tariffs. And we're confident that the deal we struck with our Chinese partners will help us to work toward resolving that national emergency.
All right, so some form of a deal has been put in place. The Democrats are going to say it doesn't mean anything. You know all the poo-pooing they're going to do about it. Just understand the details. They're going to embarrass themselves because they'll come out and say something, and President Trump and Howard Lutnick and Jameson and Bessent already know the terms. Like I mentioned to you last week, when putting a deal together, you agree in principle, and then you work out all the fine print. And so right now it sounds like they have the deal in principle put in place, and now it's just making sure the rest of it. And it may take a month for the rest of it to take place. Now, savvy people, it doesn't go for Democrats, maybe Nancy, savvy people will realize the deal's done. Now it's just a matter of crossing the T's and dotting the I's. That part, may take a month to make sure this clause is in, that clause, but the deal's done. And so the markets initially are probably going to pull back because some people got caught. And what I mean by that, some people got caught. Different margin calls. They may have tried to sell short. They may have gotten hurt because they bet against Trump. And now they've got to figure out between now and tomorrow morning what they do, because if you thought a stock was going to tank, let me just try to do it in real layman's term. You bought a stock at 100, but you bet on it that it was going to go down to 60. That would allow you to short the stock. And then all of a sudden, tomorrow, it starts fluttering around 101, 102 because you're trying to dump that short, and then it goes up to 110, and you're screwed. You're screwed. You've lost everything because you've been trying to manipulate the market with a short, and now it's going to take off. So don't be surprised at 9 o'clock or so. You might see a little bit of a dip, and then about 11 or 12 o'clock, especially after this briefing they have, it's going to take off. Now, everybody knows, and I hope you know, and let me be one to tell you, the stock market is not the economy. Some people conflate them, and they think the stock market is the economy. No, the stock market is like putting a thermometer in your mouth. And that thermometer tells you where your temperature is and how things are going. And then that's the indicator of how other things will react. Gas prices going down, because if there's a deal, they're going to go down. This thing that President Trump is going to do, he may be talking about stuff in, Israel and Gaza. You don't put out something like he put out, given everything this man has said, everything this man has done. Understand the impact of what he wrote there. The next post will be one of the most important and impactful I've ever So he's not putting out something light. He's swinging with a big bat. And it's almost like the old E.F. Hutton commercials. Remember those? When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Well, right now, the entire world is wondering, what's he about to say? And so probably behind the scenes right now, he's talking to lawyers, he's talking to different consultants, his cabinet, and going, whatever it is, you guys okay with this? You okay with this? You okay with this? You okay with this? Whatever it is, there's a lot of people right now being corralled, and notice they're not using Signal, and they're saying, I'm about to do this, or I've already done it. I'm just going to let you guys know. Now imagine if he's going to suspend habeas corpus, and he's already signed it, he just hasn't told anybody yet. Or if and it has to be almost domestic, because if there's some sort of deal between Israel and Hamas and everything over there, there's too many people where you could keep this thing secret. So the fact that nobody seems to, when I'm looking at everybody is like pushing the button and refreshing. So there's nothing leaking out for what he has said is arguably the most important and impactful post he's ever issued. So you can imagine the President of the United States says, I'm about to tell you something so important, I don't think I've ever said something this big. What could that possibly be? And so if you're a Democrat right now, you got some serious sphincter tightening. Because is he announcing arrests? Is he announcing I found somebody? Who knows? You could spend the next hour and a half just wondering, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? And the marketer that he is, I can't even fathom that this would be a nothing burger. So that's why everybody, including me, are sitting here wondering what's going on. So let me just show you something else. I found this to be very interesting because of all places, it came out on Breitbart. It didn't even come out on X as far as I know. I didn't see hardly anybody talking about it. Dan Bongino says the FBI is releasing files on the Jabademic cover-up, the Mar-a-Lago raid, the Epstein case, and more. I have no idea what's coming. Something is happening. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino took to X yesterday, to provide an update about the Bureau's transparency on some of the most controversial and highly publicized cases in recent history. And this was what he put out, and I didn't even see it. I'd like to update you on some of the things that I think are going well and some things that we can do. Let me see if this will take us to X. So let me put this window up. It's long, so I'm not going to read all of this because it's really long. But he goes on to say they're about to drop some bombs. So if you want to see this post, go to Dan Bongino on X, and you'll be able to read the entirety of this missive that he put out. And it's huge in terms of, look, 2, 3, 4, 5. I scrolled like 5 or 6 times. And so something, when you put, maybe by itself, this stuff doesn't mean as much, but when you put all this stuff together, and I find it odd that Dan put it out and not Kash Patel and not Bondi. So, again, watch what happens tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening, and none of us knows exactly what it is. So Scott Bessent and Howard Lutnick have been talking about this deal and more deals. So listen to it. I think this is Howard Lutnick.
Point that the president makes with his tariffs is that America has a $1.2 trillion trade deficit. That means other people are selling us goods that more than we are selling them. And that's just not balanced. It's not fair. We're losing $1.2 trillion a year, of which directly and indirectly to China, that's about $1 trillion. China sells goods to Vietnam. Vietnam repackages them and sells them to us. So the idea is the president wants balanced and fair trade, and tariffs are the tool to create balanced and fair trade. It's just unsustainable for $1.2 trillion to be exported to the rest of the world, meaning our money is going to the rest of the world. It's building them up. And over time, it's taken us down, and the president's here to fix it. So that's what he's trying to do with his tariffs. Remember.
And what you find it interesting is as he's talking to Dana Bash on CNN, how anti-American this press is. I know you know. I know you've seen it. But we're at a precipice of something very, 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 very big happening economically in this country. And they all look like they're sitting on pine cones. Like they can't stand that people like you will be more prosperous, that you may be able to keep more of your money, that things may get better, that you can afford possibly to go away this summer. Instead of cheering it on, they just look like they're homesick. It's absolutely disgusting because what is wrong with these people? How did the Democrats get to the point where they are anti-American? I could understand being anti-Trump. I could understand being anti-Republican. But how in the hell did they get to the point where they're anti-America and they don't want America prospering and America wealthy? They don't seem like they care about anything other than the communist Marxist stuff that they've been told that they have to promote. That's where I see the big difference at this point. You're willing to go to jail to kick in doors at an ICE detention center when right down the road in Newark you got hungry Americans? How do you even justify that? And then when you see some of the things we're going to show you, they absolutely ignore it. I'm sure it's been brought to their attention, hey man, the optics on this aren't really good. You look kind of stupid. You're fighting for these people over here, and it's so important. I'm going to show you something that Al Sharpton says, and it just made me look like, what in the hell are you talking about, bro? What? How can you be this far in the tank for newcomers? What is it? How did you just drop your focus? Remember, like him or not, Al Sharpton was the guy who walked around and trying to do civil rights and help black people and do all these things. I loathed him forever, but at least he was fighting for Americans. None of us wanted him around. We hate his tactics, but he was fighting for Americans. How did every single one of these people in the media decide, you know what, we don't really care about America. We're going to focus solely on these newcomers to the point where, you know, they'll delete you and they'll won't bring you on if you talk in a certain way about them. That is so important to them. It's almost proving the case that they are for cheating in elections. It makes no sense how you would ignore an entire population. You're of white Americans, Hispanic Americans, black Americans. You just ignore it.
We have a low tariff on the rest of the world while we negotiate. But our expectation is that these countries are going to open their markets, their tariffs are going to come down, the ability for us to export and grow our economy is going to be better than ever before. That's why President Trump talks about a golden age. Of course, all these countries are going to come and sell their products to us. Of course, we're going to have our shelves full of wonderful products made around the world. But we're going to make sure on their shelves that American products are finally given the fair treatment that they deserve. And I think what people forget is that we have been locked out of economy after economy after economy, and President Trump is going to break down those barriers and let us sell. Imagine this. If we can let other countries accept our standards, then our small businesses can sell online to foreign purchasers. I mean, imagine we're not allowed to do that now. It's just not fair trade, and President Trump is on trying to make it fair trade.
The talks.
I had some people direct message me, and they asked, after watching some of the Sunday shows today, why do people from the Trump administration even bother going on these networks? And I gotta believe there's only one reason: to reach some of those Democrats who watch these shows who aren't completely gone, to let them know, do you understand what's happening here? And then you can see him as he's talking about stuff. It's high level. I understand it goes over people's heads, some people's heads. But the anchors on these shows just seem like zombies. They don't, yeah. They don't want to talk about it. So you're looking at that as a reasonably thinking individual, and you can see they don't seem to care, do they? No. Well, this guy Howard makes sense. I can buy and I can sell and I can do these different things. It's going to help me. But you don't care. Oh, yeah, whatever.
Switzerland with us and China. You have said, listen, this is going to take potentially dozens of talks. What can you tell us about managing expectations on a timeline when something could come together?
Well, Secretary Bessent has made it clear one of his objectives is to de-escalate. 145% and 125% are really, those are kind of tariffs where you're not trading with each other. So he's there to see if we can reset the conversation, and he's at it right now. So I'm going to leave it to him of how he deals with it. But that's the objective, to de-escalate.
Should we be looking at that trade arrangement as something of a blueprint, a precedent of how he's dealing with other countries?
Sure. Yeah, it absolutely is a really exciting blueprint for what we're going to be doing. And
so let me stop there for a second. The domino effect that's about to happen is what's really going to explode the financial markets. UK happened. Now it looks like China has happened. And when China is announced and the details happen with China, the rest will fall in line very quickly. You will see deal after deal after deal being made so fast it's probably going to spin your head. They'll probably have a press conference once or twice a day. Oh, got this one. Oh, came to agreement with this one. And that's just going to cause like almost a hockey stick effect in what's about to happen. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm telling you, watch. And unfortunately, by the time you see it, if you're not doing something, it's probably going to be too late. But it might not be, because it's going to go for, we may see this week just be a blast off. I mean, a serious blast off. Can't wait. I mean, I posted something, or where was it? Yesterday? Yeah, because went looking at some property to what we're doing here is we're going to be building out a new studio with a number of different, what you want to say, locations per se, in terms of how different camera shots and things inside. And I went down to this facility, and there were a couple of places around it that had for lease signs. And one of the things that I noticed was that there were people out on a Saturday afternoon looking at commercial office space, commercial real estate space, because where this place was, one of the ones I went to, it was right at the convergence of a couple of freeways, interstates. And I'm like, you here to look at this? You're like, I'm here to look at this. I'm here. People are looking to open spaces, businesses, because now they can see it as well. And so if you're looking to open a business, whether it's, brick and mortar or if it's at home, this might be a good time for you to begin looking at that as well. The money markets are going to free up. There's going to be investment capital available. Just look at what's going on in your own neighborhood. And then maybe on a Saturday, drive out to some of these places that you've seen empty for a while and see what kind of traffic is out there. Things are beginning to move. And the number of calls and emails I've gotten from various investors who have said, hey, what are you looking at? Is there anything you're going to be looking at? Can we get in on something? I know because of that's the kind of thing that people are going to see moving forward. They're coming off the bench. Wherever they had cash parked, they're pulling that cash in, and they're getting ready to strike on deals. South Florida can't be on its own. It's got to be happening in other markets across the country as well, because now would be the time. People are feeling safe, and if once these things drop, it's going to be huge.
Howard Lutnick has briefed me on about 24 deals that he and Jameson have been working on, and they all look a little bit like the UK deal, but each one is bespoke. Each one's a little bit different because different countries have different things that they've been doing wrong to us, different things they care a lot about. And so, for example, there was the UK auto issue where there ended up being a quota, and that was something they really cared a lot about. And by yielding on that, we got a whole lot for American farmers. We opened up the UK for the first time ever for beef farmers, which they really, really love. And so, yeah, it's going to be a little bit different, but the basic idea is everybody wants to have a deal, and everybody wants to make a deal soon. And so you're right, you're going to see a lot more deals in the weeks to come, next few weeks.
Deal, 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 deal. You're hearing that in your vernacular. You're hearing that as people are talking about it on television. And I sit back and I'm amazed because for the last 4 years, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear the word deals. It wasn't part of our vocabulary for the last 4 years. They didn't want anybody coming in. In fact, they were doing just the opposite to keep people out, to farm away business. I watched, I think it was Mike Lowe, how you say his, which name is. He was on Hannity, and he was talking about how there's like 500,000 jobs that pay $100,000 or more available right now, but there's like 7 million men, able-bodied men, who stopped looking. They're not even looking for jobs. That's the mindset that Biden created. President Trump's trying to tell you, get out there, pull up your bootstraps, and let's get going. And like I titled on my picture, LFG, let's effing go. I'm not going to go into a cheerleading tirade today because I'm kind of tired from last night. But in any event, now is the time. There's not going to be a better time since the last 4 years. We're seeing it. And this China deal is going to be such a catalyst that I can't even tell you what you're going to see tomorrow in the next 3 or 4 days. Watch what happens. I'm not heavily in crypto, but I had some people email me and said, I think crypto's going to take off too. The Democrats no longer have resistance. There's none. There's no resistance with the Democrats. I even heard a weird strategy today. Let me share this with you. I heard a weird strategy today based on all this Nessen Dorma stuff, and none of us really knows what's happening. But the story today was Mike Johnson and these Republicans and all the stuff that they're doing, they're smoking out who the traitors are, and they're basically telling them to run people on a hamster wheel so they can keep the focus off of what President Trump's doing. I think, personally, what we're about to see is him take, with his cabinet, total control of the government, which is going to completely eviscerate the Democrat Party, eviscerate the judiciary, including possibly the Supreme Court. I've heard him say more than one time, we got one shot to do this. And the more I keep hearing that, I realize, and I don't know if you realize, yeah, we got one shot. One shot to make this right. We go to 2026 and 2028 and you lose, it's done. Done. You go to 2028 and even if J.D. Vance is president, somebody like him, he's young and he's got so much to lose, and I'm not saying he can be gotten to, but how many people do you know could have done what Trump did? How many people could have said, you know what, I got all the money in the world, my family's got all the money they're ever going to need, and I'm just going to run forward into this hornet's nest, and I'm going to take all the stings for you. There's not a whole lot of people who could say that. They've got too much to lose. So I do believe that. I think we got one shot. One shot, because I think this man truly believes in his mind at this point. He can run through this wall, and he's got 80 million people behind him, because every time they say, oh, stop, Midas. Every time they say stuff like, did you vote for this? Now I'm seeing it, including myself, when we push, yes, we voted for this. This is specifically what we voted for. And if he does drop habeas today and says, I'm suspending it, yes, that's what we voted for. The media is feckless. All their barking and ranting doesn't mean anything anymore. Nobody cares. I don't believe you guys even care what the media says. And it's meaningless, and we're like, fix America. Fix America. We have a terminal cancer called the Democrat Party. Do whatever you need to do to excise this tumor. We only got a certain amount of time before we live, i.e. the country. And we know what that cancer wants to do to the rest of us. So, we're with you. Get it done.
And as soon as this week?
I would expect so, yeah. I mean, there are a whole bunch of things that are very, very close to the finish line. In the end, the president has to decide he likes the deal or not. There was a great story where I thought the deal was fantastic, and then the president's like, I can make the deal better, and he got an extra $1 billion in agreement of the UK buying our stuff on the phone by calling Starmer. So my guess is that the president's going to make the last phone call for each one because he is the best deal maker in the world, and he's going to add a little bit at the end, I would expect. We're really, really pleased with the progress. The Ways and Means Committee is going to have a mark probably Tuesday where they put everything on the table. They've got a sketch of a deal right now, and we're highly confident after communicating with Chairman Smith that all of the president's top objectives are going to be in the bill. And then after that, we expect by Memorial Day it'll pass in the House, and then it'll go on to the Senate and hopefully be there by the 4th of July. And literally everybody thinks that could happen. There's not a lot of disagreement left in either the House or the Senate, and so we're super optimistic that this is going to be probably not only the biggest tax bill ever, but the best designed and the fastest achieved. Think about it.
All right, so before I put him back on talking to Maria, Helen asked, what exactly is habeas corpus? I'm going to explain that to you in the next segment, but just to let you know, because I don't want you to see what's going on, and in case he drops something, everybody should know. Habeas corpus basically means that he can do what he needs to do to get the newcomers off the street and put them in detention without any need for the court, and they can't do anything about it because he would essentially declare it an invasion, say it's a national emergency, and just go for it. Just suspend it, which means at that point, and Maximus and some of the other people who may have law enforcement experience, it's a whole different kind of enforcement. So I don't know if you guys, let me finish this and I'll come back to it, because I have a whole segment on habeas we're going to go through. And there was something that President Trump said that I think you need to take notice of.
Ever seen anything move this fast? It's really astonishing.
You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. That's a very important element of all of this. You know, if we get that, if you don't, and the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, if it was somebody else, they wouldn't fight. If you had a normal person, if you had some stiff sitting behind you, they'd be fine. But they have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian. Welcome. I don't know when they're going to give him the ceremony, whatever the ceremony may be. It's terrible what's happened to the Democrats. So very, very important element of everything, of what we're doing, unrelated to today, but related in the sense that we'll do, if that passes, we'll do even more business with the UK. We'll have so much.
All right, so you heard him say that. That was on Friday. Today is Sunday. He said Friday, before all the information came out about China, go buy some stuff. Go buy. The president of the United States said, go buy some stocks. He knows what his words mean. He knows what would you just say? Go buy some stocks. Trust me, you'll like this. He may have had inkling then what was about to come. And so for the president of the United States to be in case you missed that, let me just rewind that and let you hear that again, because I heard it. I played it the other day in our show. And then now it's taking on even more meaning.
You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. That's a very important element of all of this. You know,
I'd say so. It's going to be a rocket ship with numbers we've never seen before. Let that sink in case you didn't hear it the first time or you didn't hear it last Friday when he said it. It's going to be numbers we've never seen before. And like I've also said many times, you can tell your crazy liberal Democrat friends this. You get to enjoy it. I know you hate President Trump. I know you hate us maggots. You think we're deplorables and, Nazis and brown shirts and everything. I know you hate us. Yes, we know you hate us. But guess what? Your gas prices get to go down. Your grocery prices get to go down. Life is going to be better for your miserable ass, even though you're just out there protesting. You might be able to buy cheaper masks. You might have more money available to you buy dumpster trash cans that you can make into shields. They don't even realize he's helping them. Just say thank you. Instead of trying to burn everything up, just say thank you. So if everything you've heard thus far, and who knows what this drop is going to be or when it's coming, don't listen to my words. The President of the United States, who you voted for, said things are about to take off on a rocket ship with numbers we've never seen before. That should tell you everything you need to know. Not by me, not by any guest on the show, not by anybody in the media, not by any judge. The President of the United States said, go buy stocks. Go start getting ready to prosper. And embrace it, and don't let naysayers tell you you don't deserve to prosper. Don't let naysayers tell you you're not out there, you don't have the ability, or you shouldn't grab the brass ring. Stay where you want to stay. Delete them. Block them in the chat. Ignore them. This is the time lives are going to change. You don't get to say that too often. You don't get to say that to people and see it happen. You're going to see things happen, and if you don't put yourself in a position to, as he said, enjoy life, you're probably going to end up losing out. Just saying. And one of those things that you can do right now to make your life better and your family's life better, to take advantage of what's happening and what's going to come and continue to come. Because if you realize, what are we, 110 days in? Seems like it's been 4 years already. We're only 110 days in. What do you think September's going to look like? It's insane. This morning, Robin and I were out walking the dog. We're in the backyard, and I told you the avocado tree has begun to blossom. And the avocados are about the mangoes are about softball size right now. And then this morning, we looked at the tree, and to our shock, the avocados are starting to come out. They look like big grapes at this point. They're still growing, so they got another month or so. And as I was walking to the mango tree, I went like this, and I go, look, Robin, low-hanging fruit. And she started laughing, because that low-hanging fruit, as I said last week, is the same taste as the one up there. But take it. It's right in front of you right now. He just said, the low-hanging fruit, go do something. It's about to happen. And one of the things you can do is buy gold and silver. From my peeps at Lear Capital. Here's silver, here's gold. What do you think I'm doing tomorrow? Just saying. We're in a very volatile time right now. There's plenty of financial uncertainty. Now is not the time to be speculative. And I'm also speaking from a personal perspective. I'm buying income-producing real estate, and I'm buying gold and silver. A lot of people don't know the difference between the economy and the stock market. And too many people listen to the news and social media. That'll get you in trouble. Let's face it. It's obvious that a lot of people have an agenda they're not telling you about. Right now, your best bet is stability. And that means you might need to build a hedge against global volatility. May I recommend gold and silver to you? Real gold and real silver, not paper, not certificates, actual gold and silver. What gold and silver can give you is absolute peace of mind. A stock is only as good as the company behind it. It's merely a piece of paper. One of the things I can tell you is that many people are finding out the hard way that some of their investments were built on quicksand. Gold will never be worth zero. Silver will never be worth zero. If you want to calm some of your fears, give my friends at Lear Capital a call today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. Just so you know, Lear Capital has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $5 billion in trusted transactions. And Lear is the only gold company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So go to learberry.com. If you want peace of mind, give my friends at Lear Capital a call at 800-601-5430. Or look down here below and go to learberry.com. And don't forget to ask about getting up to $15,000 in free gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. Don't wait. Do it now. Nobody knows what tomorrow holds. Be safe. All right, so I'm seeing some questions in here as to, Barry, what stock should I buy? Yeah, and if I said something like that, I probably could end up in jail in a week or two. Because if you do something and you buy something I tell you and you lose your money, then you're going to say, well, Barry told me to buy this stock. I ain't going to do that. You got to do your homework. You've got to dig in, and if you don't know how, then you do something like gold or silver. Just don't do something out of haste that you think you need to do. That's education you need to begin garnering on your own until such time as you feel comfortable, or you can contact a financial counselor or advisor who you trust. So my thing is to begin educating yourself. Maybe it's happening right now and you're not in a position to do anything, but learn. Learning is free. Learning what to look for and what kind of fundamentals and what kind of things. Maybe it's just putting some money in a money market and getting 4 or 5% annually. You can do that too with some diversification. So first step, you're going to have to train yourself. I've mentioned that many times about basically getting in the gym at this point and saying, hey, I need to find out about this stuff. I haven't been doing it. I've always just gone to work for 20 years and I have a pension plan, but I never looked into investing. Maybe now might be the time. Start looking at CNBC instead of MSNBC. Now, they're kind of jaded too, but you start hearing from CEOs and things of their nature, or just listen to President Trump. Listen to what's doing. And there's another, what's that guy who tracks, we had him on the show, who tracks what the other people are buying. And you can see some of these people and what they're doing. So there's apps on your phone that you can pick up that'll tell you, here's a stock that Nancy Pelosi bought. Here's a stock that Sean Hannity bought, and they're tracking what these other people are doing, and you can wonder, okay, where are they getting their information, and then learn that way. Let's see here. I'm too busy following Jesus the Christ. Good for you. Now, as I said, I will never tell anybody not to follow Christ. That ain't gonna happen. Let's see here. Get a friend who's a stock nerd. Yeah, very much so. NVIDIA. NVIDIA is good. I believe it's pretty expensive. So, yes, it's very good, though. Mostly, Motley Fool. It's not mostly. Motley Fool would be a good place to learn on stock trading. Money markets pay 4%. The credit union said 1%. That's bananas. That depends on what your balance is and who it is that you're depositing your money with. You can get as high as 5%. I've seen 5%, so it all depends where you're putting your money. Let's see, breaking the law. No. Hi, David. Hope everything runs doing well. Happy Mother's Day to your family as well. Because Sharpton is a grifter, he doesn't care about the people he says he's protecting. He's just after the money. So just understand, I was not supporting or advocating for Sharpton, far from it. But what I was saying was, at least whatever his grift was, he was doing it for Americans. And now he's abandoned his push to advocate for Americans, to go over there and advocate for the newcomers. Let's see, The Siege. Oh, I'm glad you watched it. The Siege. All right, so we were talking about, hey, Good segue. I love how you guys come up with comments that segue into the next part of the show. Didn't do a show on Saturday, did a show on Friday night. I said, if you haven't seen it, go see the movie, or pull it up on Prime or something and watch the movie The Siege. Because although it's fantastical, it's an illustration of what habeas can really be. And in that movie, there's a few bombs that go off, and because the bombs go off, and it's those people from over there who are doing it here in America, they go ahead and declare habeas and essentially round them all up. And of course, it's got your weak lib moments where you're like, please don't do this to people. And then Bruce Willis plays a general who's like, got to do what you got to do. In fact, one of the lines is, the last thing you want to see is an M16 guy in full fatigues walking down your street. But if you do it, we'll get the job done. And that's when they're sitting in what looks to be like a situation room, and they're giving the order. Lock it down. Do what you got to do. And in the next scene, they cut to it, and the Humvees are rolling through the streets. And people are like, what is going on? They're going door to door, yanking people out. Good depiction. Now, you may say to yourself, how, if President Trump decided to go there, how would he do that? You would need like a massive force of people, wouldn't you? All right, so again, breadcrumbs. Did you see this breadcrumb? Because President Trump orders DHS to bring on 20,000 more ICE agents to increase deportation efforts. That was yesterday at 8 o'clock. Did you miss that? Because when I saw it, I went, oh, it's Nessen Dorma time, baby. It's Nessen Dorma time. It's suspend habeas time. You're going to roll out 20,000 more ICE agents? Let me ask you a question. You guys are intelligent. I always respect talking to intelligent people. I've seen the people in our community. Where are you going to get 20,000 new ICE agents all of a sudden? Where are they going to come from? 20,000 ICE agents? You mean you got to train them in this, you got to train them in that? Some of them, new people got to be trained in firearms, they got to be trained in detention, they got to be trained in public safety. Where are you going to get 20,000 people that you can make ICE agents tomorrow? Well, more than likely, if you need 20,000 new ICE agents, maybe you're looking to deputize National Guards officers, sheriffs from around the country. Calling Ron DeSantis, how many you got? I can send you like 4,000. There's 4. Boom. Texas, how many you got? Yeah, we got like 5 or 6 I can send you. And deputize those people, and all of a sudden, different law enforcement can send this many or that many. See, 20,000. How many people does Pete Hegseth, can he move and mobilize? So when I saw that, and now that you guys all see that, and that he probably asked the same question, where are you going to get 20,000 people overnight? You're not talking about, can you get me 20,000 for 2027? No. No. So ask yourself, where is he getting 20,000 more ICE agents to do what he's going to do? And the second question is, what are you going to do with 20,000 ICE agents? The judges have told you can't do things, right? Yeah, about that. So if the judges told him he can't do it, what do you need 20,000 new people for to increase deportation efforts? Think there might be something coming from all the breadcrumbs that you've read? Do you think something might be coming? I'm beginning to think that way. Here, let's listen to this.
Oh, straight to border czar Tom Homan. Tom, thank you so much for being here. You know, just watching that body cam video, absolutely incredible to see that went down. And before we get to it, I'd like you to also hear what the Newark mayor had to say, also in his defense.
We ask them to obey our laws, to obey the policies and rules here in the city and the state of New Jersey, not to run roughshod over the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, the 4th, the 5th, the 14th Amendment, that everybody on this soil deserves due process.
Tom, he's saying they're the good guys here.
Well, look, he's not very smart. I mean, bottom line is, that's what the facility's all about. This facility's about due process.
You know, you have members of Congress there as well, and they're arguing that this was a matter of oversight. I want you to listen to what Congressman Robert Menendez Jr. said yesterday.
We were there to conduct oversight. It's a newly opened facility. They want to spin people. This is exactly what they've done their entire administration. They talk about criminals. They're separating families.
Conducting
their entire time of the administration. Oh, you mean checks watch last 100 and something days? The entire time. They're losing it. They have nothing. And you can see they're almost frothing. They can't even understand, can't even vocalize what's bothering them at this point. They realize the Democrat Party is being shredded a little bit at a time.
Oversight in this manner. Tom.
No, it's not the proper way to do it. There's a proper way to conduct oversight. There's a way to make appointments, go in this facility. You don't break into the facility when a bus full of criminals are being, brought into that facility. This is about the safety and security of the employees. This is about the safety and security of the illegal aliens. And it's about the safety and security of the public. You just don't make an entry like that. You don't make an unauthorized entry while they're moving a bus of criminals in the facility. There's a right way and wrong way to do it. And look, I've said from day one, you cannot support ICE. You can go ahead and support sanctuary cities, but you can't cross that line. You can't cross the line of impediment. You can't cross the line of knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien. And you certainly can't trespass in a facility that's contracted by the U.S. government to house criminals. That'd be like breaking into a state prison, not going through the proper protocols. This creates a huge safety crisis, and these elected politicians know that. This isn't about due process. This isn't about constitutional rights. This is about politics. They simply don't want these people removed from this country. They don't want immigration enforcement in this country, and that's what it's all.
So that's where you have to start questioning their motives. Why is it so important, vitally important, to the point that you'll be flying across into other countries and kicking down the fences at ICE detention centers, getting yourselves arrested? What is so important to you about these newcomers? Walks like a dog, barks like a dog. I'm sorry, Midas, don't need to insult you, but it's a dog. They're trying to hurt America. Now, some of you had said in the chat that you thought that President Trump's post about something big is happening was going to be about what was going on with Hamas in Israel. I'm going to break this into you because we got a little bit of breaking news right now. It just came out.
Breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
All right, so what we got here is J.D. Vance is breaking some news, not President Trump. J.D. Vance is breaking this. He just put this out. He says that pray that Hamas follows through and Eden gets to come home. If they do, it will have been another triumph for Steve Witkoff, who continues to face withering attacks for freeing hostages, negotiating complex diplomatic proposals, and serving his country at great financial cost. Remember, Steve Witkoff is another billionaire, so this must be his son, Alex. Breaking news. Hamas will release American hostage Eden Alexander unconditionally, citing pressure from President Trump. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff heads to Israel tomorrow to finalize the release, per Israel journalist Barak Ravid. This is a historic diplomatic breakthrough. Hamas to release Israeli-American hostage Eden Alexander after talks with the United States. So this guy's going to get to come home. And since that was on J.D. Vance's post, and I don't see any update as of right now on President Trump's feed, so that wasn't the big announcement. So, just to let you know, Steve Witkoff has now negotiated the release of yet another hostage. Steve Witkoff flying over there tomorrow to go hopefully pick this guy up and bring him home. Every single day, it seems like there's something bad for the Democrats. It's getting to be almost every single hour. Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here refreshing, we're listening to this, we're checking this out, and it just, stuff keeps happening. He's definitely flooding the zone. And they have no response to this. None. I mean, what are you going to do? Complain now and say Steve Witkoff, oh, he's unqualified to be, well, he just got this guy home. It's crazy.
About. They can try to hide it all they want with these protests around the facility, but we can continue to do what we're doing. That facility's got some of the worst of the worst. We're keeping President Trump's promise to the American people that elected him for the sole reason of securing the border and removing these public safety threats from the communities. That's exactly what they're going to do. They can stand out and scream all they want. They can trespass, they'll be arrested. If they impede, they'll be arrested. If they knowingly harbor and conceal, they'll be arrested. We're going to do this job for the American people.
Well, they got the news cameras out there, which I'm sure was part of the goal.
All right, so Tom Homan just said, you can do whatever you want, you're going to get arrested. We are going to put your behinds in jail. You do not have the right nor the power to just stroll your behinds into an ICE detention center and to demand to be let in. Nope, it's all for publicity. It's all to get the cameras rolling, and then they can run on MSNBC and CNN and go, look, they wouldn't let us they wouldn't let us go see the bad newcomers. Nobody cares. And what's going to happen is, even some of the people who care, it's going to go less and less and less. Why is it going to be less and less? Because whatever President Trump is planning, whatever it is that's about to drop, whatever it is that the finality of the China deal is going to be announced, are going to be people like, life's good. Heading into summer, and this is all happening as we're getting ready to head into summer. The highest point of people's year, besides Christmas, they got big problems. Talking about the Democrats.
Wow. The administration is facing more legal roadblocks over plans to expel illegal immigrants from the country. A U.S. judge ruled this week that deportation flights to Libya would violate a court order a day after reports surfaced that the administration was preparing to do just that. How are you?
Okay. Listen to what he says here in terms of his concern over the courts.
Handling these rulings?
Well, it's ridiculous. You got district court judges, district court judges, putting in nationwide injunctions against us doing our job. I mean, again, it isn't about the rule of law. You got these, outrageous judges trying to stop us from doing what the American people want us to do. We're simply enforcing the laws on the books. We're enforcing laws acted by Congress. Unlike the last administration, who not only ignored the law, they actively violated the law when they allowed millions of people and abuse of the parole program come to the United States. We are enforcing laws that Congress enacted, including the Alien Enemies Act. That was a law enacted by Congress. They wrote that law. The president signed that law. We're using the
You might have been waiting for him to say, we've had to stop because of what the judges have done. We've had to curtail operations because of what the judges have done. Nope, that's not what he said. We're just going to keep moving forward. In fact, President Trump just said, bring 20,000 more ICE agents in. That sounds like somebody who's stopping because some judge somewhere said they don't like what he's doing? That's what the Democrats know. They know at this point, oh boy, we're screwed. We are absolutely screwed. This guy is not listening. He's not putting up with this crap. And we can't stop him. And Tom Homan goes on television. Let that sink in. If there was any apprehension at all, you would not go on a television show on a huge network and say, we're just going to keep going. He might as well have said, we don't give a F. We have no F's left to give. We're just going to keep going. Try and stop us. And at this point, the Democrats and even some of the judges are running around going, how do we stop him? You can't. Imagine that kind of power in President Trump's hands. Anybody's hands. When right now he knows, I run this. You can complain, you can do this, you can do that, but You can't stop me. Now, here's where it gets really interesting and what you have to begin thinking. If Trump truly feels they can't stop him, then he also must know that if there's some time later where somebody figures out or Democrats get back in power, that they may come after him. You following? Because they are definitely going to try to come after him if they ever get behind the wheel again. And so what can President Trump do now to make sure that doesn't happen? And this is where it starts getting deep, and this is where it really requires your mind, and this is where it really requires the suspension of habeas and some other stuff. Because the only way he can guarantee that he won't be assailed and other MAGAs won't be come after. There's only one way he can do that. He's going to have to remove the judges. Remember, all these judges have lifetime appointments. And so once Trump is out of office, and if it's JD, or God forbid it's a Democrat, they're going to do everything they can once they have the reins to go after Trump, you, me. So how do you protect that? How do you make sure that everything he does now, the 20,000 new ICE agents, the closing of the border, shipping these people out, how do you make sure, how do you Democrat-proof your efforts right now? You have to get rid of the judges. Because those are going to be the frontline soldiers for the Democrat now. They've exposed their ideology. They know they can't do anything legislatively. They can't get anything passed. The Republicans can't get anything passed. So these judges are like sleeper cells. Just wait until Democrats get back in power, and then they'll execute all over again. So the only way you can guarantee America truly does survive is you got to get rid of these judges. How do you get rid of these judges? You got to lock them up. When I said this could get squirrely, this could get really, really, really squirrely. And no one's probably even mentioned that before. And you're like, Barry, that's crazy. Well, think about it. If it's really crazy, think about it. How do you stop these vermin, these serpents, so that they don't do it again? And there is only one way to make sure it doesn't happen again, because they've shown what they will do. Oh, so you're going to basically shield newcomers in a hallway so they can't be arrested? You're going to go that far? You're going to show them how to escape? You're really going to go that far? You're going to make up judgments that are... You have to make sure they can't do it ever again. How do you do that? So if you don't take them into custody, you can tell me in the chat, how would you possibly stop these snakes from biting in the future? You know, if you've ever had a house or bought a house and it had a hornet's nest, you don't go, oh, I think it'll be okay. You can come by here and play. You might not get bit this time. No, you got to take that thing out. You got to smoke it out and then take it down and burn it. Those hornets will come back if you don't burn it to the ground. Yeah, think about that. Let me look at some comments here, because I'm like, Barry, you're scaring us. Barry, what's to stop the Democrats from removing the new Trump judges? Because the long game here is, I think most of us know, the Democrats can't win elections. I think we see that. So, but I bet you he's done enough research to know right now that if you can stop the phony elections and what they do and how they do different things and the mail-in ballots, and I mean, there's so much that has to be eradicated. It's not just these judges. It's not just these newcomers. There's so much. That's the next thing. Okay, we're going to require voter ID. And some judge is going to say, no, you can't do that. We can do the mail-in. So, okay, so you got to go. This is it. This is nuclear. This is Nessen Dorma. There's no other way for this country to be saved. You cannot put a Band-Aid on this and think it's going to be all better when Trump is gone. Which is going to take some intestinal fortitude from you to realize this is the end game. There's nothing else. We can never let these people be in power again. Remember his words. I played him at the beginning. What were his words? If I get elected, I'm going to, quote, obliterate the deep state. Obliterate. Didn't say try to make nice. Didn't say see if we can negotiate. His words, obliterate. So I don't know how many things you've ever obliterated in your life, but when you obliterate something, there's nothing left. It's shambles and crumbs. And so what I find when I talk to you is often wanting you to think 4 steps down the road. You guys, many of you post on X, oh, he's playing 4D chess. Well, you need to start playing 4D chess. Start thinking down the road. Like, we can't just do it for like 2026 and 28 because eventually they're going to do it because they got all these judges they put in place. If you are willing to go here, you better be ready to go there. And so I could be completely wrong, but you tell me how you fix it. If you don't remove the judges, who these people rely on this point because they realize they can't win normal elections, how does this country survive? Because it will go right back. It will metastasize and come right back. And not enough people in my mind are talking about it because I bet you Stephen Miller and Trump and his people have said this. We got to, quote, obliterate the deep state. So listen to words. Listen to what people say. Listen to what this man says. Those words aren't chosen just because he wants to say them. They go through speechwriters, and the speechwriter goes through legal, and then the legal says you can say that, and then he reads it. And he chose, if I get elected, I am going to obliterate the deep state. What did you think that meant? Just saying. We need to stop not just stop the Democrats. We know them to be evil. We know them to be anti-American. You don't need to stop them. You need to obliterate them. And as I'm looking in the chat here, I'm wondering how many of you are ready to go there? You know, we're in a fight for the existence of this country. And I often wonder to myself with the stuff we see online, and you go, oh, not again. Oh, James O'Keefe. Oh, blah, blah, blah. When people really realize there is nothing else if this doesn't work. Yes, I love J.D. Vance, but there's nothing else. So you better be ready to go the distance. You better be ready to go, okay, I understand where he's going. This is going to be nuclear. Yep, that's where we're going. Send me, oh Lord. And some of the Republicans as well that are in office. Treason seals their fate forever. Yep. So, that's, we will not we can't. They don't want to coexist. They want to kill the country. Everything you see. I mean, there may be some, put it this way, it's really weird. There may be some Democrats who indeed want to see things get better, but it seems like those Democrats have crossed over to our side. Like, hey man, I can't deal with y'all. You're crazy. How many times have you heard Tulsi and RFK Jr. and others go, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. They left me. Y'all decided to go crazy. Yeah, you decided that, even I couldn't be here anymore. That's because it didn't go into the Democrat Party. And this is something where a lot of people have to red pill themselves. I'm not even talking about the babies at this point. Because to me, the ultimate red pill somebody has to take is realize these people really are communist. They're really Marxist. And when you sit back and realize, oh, yeah, I could see that. They don't even want us to have a certain way of life. No, they want you to have no speech. They want to tax you to death. You're basically a shrimp on a treadmill. That's what they think. So we have fought wars to stop communism. We have sent men and women halfway across the world to Southeast Asia to stop communism. We almost fought the Bay of Pigs to stop communism. So if we're willing to do all that around the world, what the hell are we willing to do to save America from communism? And if you start looking at it from that perspective, yeah, people died. Lots of people died to stop communism from coming here. And we let it in. We let it in across the border, and we let it into our government. And so there is no turning back unless you understand this fight is to the end. Just saying, that's where we are. Let's see here. Yeah, Trump made it clear the first time with the snake story. Good point. Good point. Yeah, go read that again. And listen to what he says about the snake. I treated you so well, and blah, blah, blah. Why'd you bite me? Oh, you knew I was a snake. You knew I was a snake. These people are communist. They're Marxist. They're socialist. They admit it. Think about that. This isn't even a Trojan horse anymore. They admit it. Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and AOC, and they just tell you, yeah, this is what we want. You have an enemy that's taken off their mask and is in the government. That should frighten the hell out of you. This isn't like some guy in a hut in Vietnam. These are people in your own government right now fighting against you. It's that bad. All forces to stop this communist takeover because they have been in the U.S. for over 70 years. Let's see here. The answer is we can't be overpowered from outside. We'll be devoured from within. And so I don't think enough people just realize at this point it's an internal disease. It's inside of us. We've always put soldiers on the borders and sent them over here to make sure it didn't come here. But then Joe Biden opened up the door and said, come on in. And then they put these people in office. Do you know, I just read, I don't know if it's Arizona or Minnesota, one of those states just made a law that non-citizens can be put on the police department. I read that and I'm like, how is that even possible? How are you allowing people who aren't even citizens, who have never sworn to uphold the Constitution, and you're giving them guns and badges? Why would you live in a state that is allowing that to happen? Even if you can't afford it, sell everything, get the hell out. And then tell you, yeah, you can't have a gun because you can't, defend yourself or anything. No, I couldn't do that. No. You know what they just passed in Washington State? They just passed in Washington State a law that says if the so-called scientific experts advise that something should be injected into people, that the state can mandate that you have to take it. I would be selling my house. I would be packing up and moving out of Washington State ASAP. They're crazy. Go look it up. You think I'm lying? Go look it up. It's on the books now. If they're experts, and you've seen who experts are, if they're experts deem there is a need for public safety where you have to take a certain jab, they're going to mandate that everyone in the state has to take it. Period. In 2025, they're doing this. So they're not stopping. They're not stopping at all. They're just getting warmed up for their fight.
You know, I only have a few seconds left, but finally, ABC reported this week that the DOJ is investigating the 2022 traffic stop of Kilmar Obrego Garcia. Apparently, he's accused of acting as a taxi service for a convicted felon transporting illegal migrants across the United States. Are you familiar with that report, and what are the next steps for the administration in this case?
Well, look, it's being totally investigated by HSI and FBI, but when you talk about trafficking, who is he trafficking, right? We need to see, is he trafficking just illegal labor? Or is he trafficking people that are being forced labor? Is he trafficking women and children who are being sex slavery? I mean, is he trafficking on known suspected terrorists? We don't know. That's why we're going to investigate this. We know he's involved. We got to find out exactly what organization he was involved with. We know he's associated with the TDA, but when it comes to trafficking, they can traffic anybody from some illegal alien looking for a better life to an unknown terrorist that's come to this country to do us harm. That's why this needs to be investigated right to the fullest extent.
Tom Homan, we appreciate so much you being with us on this Saturday morning. Thank you. Good to see you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews.
Yeah, I didn't cut that. My bad. I was in a hurry. So, but you still can go there and cut it. All right. So somebody had asked, what is suspension of habeas? Let's listen to this.
Miller said the Trump administration is, quote, actively looking at suspending habeas corpus, the constitutional right for people to legally challenge their detention by the government. Miller telling reporters, quote, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. He added, quote, I would say that.
When? Let me just go back here for a second, because when is it allowed to be suspended? It can be suspended during times of invasion. What did President Trump just post a little while ago? Our country has been invaded. Not by accident. This went up today at 1:03 p.m. And you can see right there, our country has been, in big letters, invaded. What does habeas do? It says you can't fight detention, basically. What Steve Miller says, well, you can use it if you declare an emergency because you've been invaded. Wow, it's funny how the breadcrumbs begin lining up. And then President Trump says it, puts it right there. We've been invaded. These breadcrumbs aren't by accident. It's all starting to make a lot of sense when you sit back and actually look at what's going on.
It's an option we are actively looking at. We do have those comments here into our newsroom from Stephen Miller, so let's lift up the audio and listen in.
Run to, but since you all are graciously gathered here, I'll take a few questions. And I think you also just had like an hour with Caroline, so I don't want to step on that too much either.
Mr. Miller,
hold on, there's a question back there first.
Pundit, I have two quick questions. First, President Trump has talked about potentially suspending habeas corpus to take care of the illegal immigration problem. When could we see that happen, do you think?
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at. Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not. At the end of the day, Congress passed a body of law known as the Immigration and Nationality Act, which stripped Article III courts, that's the judicial branch, of jurisdiction over immigration cases. So Congress actually passed, it's called jurisdiction stripping legislation. It passed a number of laws that say that the Article III courts aren't even allowed to be involved in immigration cases. Many of you probably don't know this. I'll give you a good example. Are you familiar with the term temporary protected status, or TPS, right? So by statute, the courts are stripped of jurisdiction from overruling a presidential determination or a secretarial determination on TPS when the Secretary of Homeland Security makes that determination. So when Secretary Noem terminated TPS for the illegals that Biden flew into the country, when courts stepped in, they were violating explicit language that Congress had enacted, saying they have no jurisdiction. So it's not just the courts aren't just at war with the executive branch. The courts are at war, these radical rogue judges, with the legislative branch as well, too. So all of that will inform the choices the president ultimately makes, yes.
Mr. Miller, to further incentivize deportation of illegal aliens, is the administration considering going after businesses that knowingly employ illegal aliens?
Well, they already have. Worksite enforcement, I don't have the exact statistics, but it's at multiple hundreds of percent. So the increase in worksite enforcement has been dramatic, it's been immediate, and that will continue.
I was deeply, I'm talking for myself, I was deeply disappointed to learn yesterday that while the Trump administration was arresting you for standing up for migrants, they were also finalizing plans to fly white South Africans that they are calling refugees to the United States on State Department charter flights starting next week. They are organizing what White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller calls a large-scale relocation effort for these white migrants from South Africa, even while they're terrorizing other mostly non-white migrants who have been here for years. It seems...
So now you're beginning to see the grievance merchants trying to compare people who are having their homes taken, having under terrorizing about being killed because they have been killing some of these farmers, and they don't want them in the country. People who have the ability and wherewithal to contribute to society. That's bad. We gotta have all these people over here. That's who they're fighting for. Not these people over here. We don't these white people? These white Afrikaners who had farms and businesses? No, we don't want them. We want leeches. That's who we want.
To be a very clear signal of the racial politics behind this immigration crackdown. Doesn't that appear that way to you, Mayor Baraka?
Yeah, I don't think they've been hiding it, though. It's just that's kind of white supremacist authoritarianism that's happening. This country is slipping into authoritarianism, and we're watching it. We're watching them defy the courts. We're watching them lock up elected officials, put pressure on large legal organizations, make it difficult.
All right, so what he said right there, from what I've been talking to you guys about, should have made you listen and hear what he said. What he said was they're arresting officials, putting them in jail. Now we've gone from judges to actual sitting members of Congress. You can cry about the racism all you want. I don't really care. The important part of this segment is this guy was arrested. Those other two women are probably about to be arrested. They're letting everybody know you can't do the stuff that you used to do. You are not going to be able to just come through here and trample through just because you think you can. That's not going to happen. So the fear of God is being put into these people at this point that Trump means business. And they realize there's nothing they can do. Nothing. Imagine that. The entire Democrat Party for years, including Al Sharpton, has just acted as grievance merchants, as shakedown artists, doing whatever he can to get to people to get them to capitulate. And now they're running up against President Trump, who's not only not capitulating, he's putting their butts in jail. So that's huge.
For people to oppose them and attacking black and brown communities, attacking DEI, now flying white Afrikaners over here to the United States to find refuge where they deny refuge for everybody else, from war-torn communities at that. I mean, this is very clear to us. It has always been clear to me, and our job is to make sure we expose it.
Do you know why they're going with the race card at this point? I'll tell you. Let me give you a little secret here. Because the white people are not going to burn cities down. The white people aren't going to get out there. I mean, I'm not talking about the Antifas. The Antifas are only going to be able to do it in blue cities. They need to get the black people involved. You know, the people who they've been able to manipulate for decades. These are the people, hey man, they shot an unarmed black guy. Let's go burn up the whole city. Yeah, BLM, Black Lives Matter, and George Floyd. And they are able to burn the whole city. That ain't happening right now, and that's why they have to try and gin that up. And it's not happening because everybody in the hood can see you guys are just out here trying to support them. You ain't doing nothing for me. And it's unfortunate that so many people in the hood have that ideology, what are you going to do for me? But unfortunate for them, that's what you bred. You bred an entire generation of people who expect you to give me something. And they see right now that you're giving it to other people and they're pissed off. I didn't get no free hotel room. I didn't get no ATM card. I didn't get all that. How much? $13,000? I didn't get that. Go screw yourself. It's going to be very hard for them to gin it up right now because even with people like Al, what are you going to say? Oh, they're bringing in these Afrikaners from over there and they're white. So, you want me to do something and they haven't done anything to me? I mean, I can get behind you if a cop shot somebody, but what am I gonna riot about? And they're getting desperate because they realize they can't activate their foot soldiers. There's not enough Antifa. They can't do it. Listen to what AOC says here. She should be going to jail next.
And now what DHS is trying to say, again, they're using public intimidation because they know that they cannot come for us all. They know that they cannot come for us all. And recently what they said is that DHS is allegedly looking into arresting members of Congress who were showing up for their legal and constitutional obligation to conduct oversight.
How stupid do you have to be telling people on a TikTok or whatever that their constitutional right is to barge in and do something? They have to fill any forms? No? They don't have to make any appointments? No? So they have the right to go anywhere in the country? They can come here to Broward County Jail and say, open it up. I'm a Congressman idiot. You think you can do that? You don't think the people at the Broward County Jail would tell you to go pound sand? I don't know who you are. That's the other thing. The woman who got, the guy who got arrested from the mayor from New Jersey and those two other nuts, they just showed up. How are the cops and agents supposed to know? Who the hell are you? I'm so-and-so. You got to let me in. No, I'm sorry. I have no idea who you are. You have no documentation whatsoever. You have no, official decree. Try that. I want you to try it. Go down to your local, jail and say, I demand to see so-and-so. Who are you? I'm Congressman Smith. Oh, Congressman Smith. Sorry. So what is she talking about?
Anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman, on Representative, or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem.
Well, then I guess you got a problem. It's easy to talk big and bad behind a TikTok video, but I guess you got a problem because the video I saw, yeah, they laid hands on her and they tossed him out. Yeah, they grabbed the mayor, arrested him. What? What you got? What's this problem you have? What are you going to do about it? Nothing. They got nothing.
Because the people who are breaking the law are the people who are not abiding by it. And it is enshrined in the law that members of Congress who show up to ICE and CBP facilities are required to be granted access, legally required to be granted access. And
have you seen that statute? I haven't. She could have read it. Well, according to U.S. Code, blank, 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 anyone that shows up at the front gate deserves to get access. The problem with what she's saying is the Democrats denied Republicans access. When the Republicans were looking for, the children, Biden administration and Biden and Mayorkas said, no, you can't come in. So where is it written that you can just barge in any jail, federal facility in the country? It doesn't exist. It's crazy.
Legally cannot be inhibited from accessing these facilities to conduct their constitutional obligation to investigate and conduct oversight. So if Kristi Noem wants to break the law, that's on her. But it sure as hell is not someone like Representative Robert Menendez that needs to be arrested. Okay?
Trump has...
Okay. No, it's not okay. You talk like a 12-year-old. Go back to your bartending. You know, it's crazy. But the thing that she's illustrating is that they have nothing. She couldn't say, I'm going to go into Congress tomorrow and we're going to try and get this law, or we're going to run to this judge, or nothing. You got nothing. And Abby Phillips, of all people, who has her show on CNN, she finally had to admit it.
Succeeded. He has shut the border down. There are no border crossings virtually happening.
You know it's bad when people on CNN have to admit it. There's nobody coming in. How come Biden kept telling everybody he couldn't do it? Yeah, kind of eyes open up there. Yeah, it does. You're right. The Threads of Hera. It does look like an insurrection. AOC has brain damage from sounds like she's inciting a riot to me. They are. See, that's the part. They are. They have to. That's what the whole thing was at the New Jersey thing. They have to try and get a public uprising. And it's not working. Nobody cares. We're getting into the summer season. Where you are, it's probably getting a little bit warm. You're getting ready to do things with your family. You got to go to baseball games. Oh man, football season's on its way. My grandson, right now, he's training. I think he's going to football camp next weekend. Everybody, I mean, it's almost going towards Memorial Day. And then once Memorial Day hits and kids are out of school, you can't really bitch around on campus because there's nobody on campus. So from Memorial Day, I guess football camps open like the last week of July, and then all eyes then get diverted to football. And even Congress won't be able to get too much done at that point. College football, professional football, mostly college football. Love college football. But that's what's coming. And so their ability to gin things up, they got a really short window. And they realize at this point, people don't care. You see their ratings are in the toilet. Nobody cares. You're not telling me anything. And this is something people should ask her and other people, is you took the time to go out there and film this TikTok video, whatever, and the other guy went on Al Sharpton's show and to talk about newcomers. When's the last time you talked about improving Americans' lives? I challenge you. Go tell me the last time. She did a whole tour with Bernie. Didn't talk about improving people's lives. Every single day and night on MSNBC and CNN, they don't talk about improving people's lives unless they have a Trump administrator doing an interview. There is no talk anywhere about people having a better life. Oh, Marcus just reminded me. Let me go ahead and play this real quick.
These people are about 10 exits past normal. Look, you just got to try harder not to suck.
Oh man, I love that. Oh, he's so good. Ashley's trying to get him on the show. Let's see here. Oh, so Phil Collins in the air tonight. Thanks for the show today. We all need to hear this. Yeah, I just hope that people begin, understanding about the habeas thing. I know SV is sitting here. We've all tried to continue to refresh. So it looks like he may not post it. He didn't say when. He just said his next one. So it hasn't come out yet. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. SB just sent me something. Wait a second. Let's see what SB just sent me. I know he sent me something about another newcomer getting caught. What's this one? Whoa. Well, this is huge. Someone's going to die over this. This is for sure. People aren't going to like this. We got a huge bust. Is it at the border? Where was this taking place? Yeah, at the border. $3.3 million in meth busted at the border, hiding under the floorboards. CBP officers at the Eagle Pass International Bridge in Texas just stopped 164 pounds of meth from flooding U.S. streets, all hidden under the floor of a Kia Sorento. 39-year-old citizen driving it through thought she could slide across from Mexico unnoticed. Instead, officers deployed X-ray tech, a drug-sniffing dog, and sharp instincts, and uncovered 74 tightly packed bundles worth over $3 million. And there's the picture of the catch, C-A-C-H-E, that they just busted. So it's happening. They're shutting the border down. They're doing everything they can to cut off the flow of different things. SB sent me this one too. This guy deported once already, snuck back into the country after 20 years, got caught again. Was arrested in Silver Spring, Maryland. Oh, another Maryland man this month, nearly 20 years after he was deported the first time. He's a member of MS-13, probably knows the other guy. And guess what? There he is. You know where he's headed, right? you know he's on the next plane to Sakai. He's definitely going to El Salvador, for sure. All right, so that being said, yeah, I want you guys to understand what's happening, if it happens, when it happens. There's a lot going on. I'm sitting here refreshing, trying to see what's happening. It looks though at this point is nothing as of yet. So we don't have anything new as of yet. So I will continue because there was two things I wanted to show you as well. I thought this was interesting. When I talked about how the Republicans maybe be stuck running interference for Trump, Congress has only sent 5 bills totally to President Trump's desk to sign in the first 100 days. 5. That's the least of any president since the 1950s. What the heck are they doing? House GOP and Senate GOP, get your stuff together. We want Doge cuts and executive orders codified. Starting to make sense to me about them running interference, because why have only 5 bills been sent to the president's desk when you have the majority in the House and the Senate? You guys are over here trying to pretend like you're helping out, and you're doing anything but. And then I saw this posted by Dave Portnoy. Some of you guys know who Dave Portnoy is, but if you look around X right now, you're seeing this refrain over and over and over. Stock market going to be a movie tomorrow. It's going to be crazy, absolutely crazy. So once we hear the details of what this deal is and how it plays out, I think we're going to see a lot of things happening. And I just hope if you're in a position where you are prepared to do something, that you can take advantage of it as well. Let me just see. Uh-oh. SB said check truth. Let me see what he dropped. Okay. Well, it's funny. We're hoping for the big one, but this is still a big one. Okay, so he dropped the truth. Thank you, SV. He said the next one, and this was the next one. So what is it? For many years, the world has wondered why prescription drugs and pharmaceuticals were so much higher in price than they were in any other nation, sometimes being 5 to 10 times more expensive than the same drug manufactured in the exact same laboratory or plant by the same company. It was always difficult to explain and very embarrassing because, in fact, there was no correct or rightful answer. Right. The pharmaceutical companies would say for years it was R&D costs, and that all of these costs were and would be for no reason whatsoever borne by the suckers of America alone. Campaign contributions can do wonders, but not with me and not with the Republican Party. We're going to do the right thing, something the Democrats have thought for many years. Therefore, I am pleased to announce that tomorrow morning in the White House at 9 a.m., I will be signing with the most consequential executive orders in our country's history. I'm going to be up early. Prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced immediately, almost immediately, by 30% to 80%. They will rise throughout the world in order to equalize and for the first time in many years bring fairness to America. I will be instituting a most favored nations policy where the United States will pay the same price as a nation that pays the lowest price anywhere in the world. Oh my gosh! That's huge! Huge! Ooh, our country will be finally treated fairly and our citizens' healthcare costs will be reduced by numbers never even thought of before. Additionally, on top of everything else, the United States will save trillions of dollars. Wow. Wow.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
I'm going to put this back on the screen so in case you need to read more of it, you can read while we're talking here. All right, so let me scroll down to where the big thing is. All right, I will be tomorrow morning doing a most favored nations policy. So what that means is if you're selling it to Egypt for $2 a vial, but you're selling it for $800 in America, you now have to give us Egypt's price. You ever wondered with these drug companies and you could order stuff from Canada and it's like a quarter of the price, but if you went to your local Walgreens, they're going to want 4 or 5 times the price of the same medicine, the exact same medicine, the exact same dosage from the exact same manufacturer. So here's what's happening with this. Of course, they'll sue. They'll sue. They're probably in court on the steps right now. Because this is probably the precursor to stopping pharmaceutical advertising. And if he does it this way, who knows what he and RFK Jr. have been cooking up, because maybe he didn't want to do it that way, but if you're going to have to give us most favored nation policy, which means you can't charge people in the Sudan, you can't charge us any more than the people in the Sudan, then your revenues are going to come way down. And you may not even be able to afford to advertise on these networks. This is extremely wide-ranging at this point. Undoubtedly, there will be lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. There will be temporary restraining orders over and over. But now here's what's going to happen, because if they try and go to Judge Bo Asberg, somehow he gets all the cases, and he says, oh, we're going to put a TRO on this, and you cannot do this until it goes all the way through the courts 2 or 3 years from now. And unlike the newcomers where he can round them up and say whatever, how do you stop Walgreens and CVS and all the other Dwayne Reed? How do you stop them from listening to the TRO? So I'm assuming there's going to be something else that drops tomorrow. Because CVS and Walgreens, if they're led by libs, will hey, we got to keep charging this amount. This chess match is still ongoing. So this is the first one. It's absolutely monstrous. Monstrous. Most consequential executive orders in our country's history. Prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately, as much as possibly 80%. Wow. Wow. Seems like the TRO should be on the pharmaceutical companies. Why are you allowed to charge $20 in Canada, but you charge us $100? Seems like you're the companies that are hurting, that the American people need protection from. That would be an immense... How do you argue that? We get to, charge you guys more because you're America. Man, I know some of you guys on a fixed income have got to be looking at this and going, Whoa. Okay, you're a doctor or a nurse, and I'm loving this for all my patients. Wow. Say goodbye to MSNBC. What a time to be living in. But how can they charge us the highest? Isn't that price gouging? See, that's the argument they're going to have to make in court. They're going to obviously try to sue Trump, say you can't do it, but then it's going to be very easy for them to prove, well, why are we paying more? Why are the American people forced to pay 4, 5, 6 times what you're charging people over there? You can literally go online and search, even like with GoodRx and different things, different drugs that, like there's nurses in here that they're charging so much more for because we're in America. It's old zip code pricing. You got it, you're Americans. And we're going to gig your insurance if it's covered. Just think of the ramifications here. Good point. Where's this one here? Any politician that fights this with their constituents, that will be saving money. Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being the person in politics right now who says, you know what? I don't think this is a good idea. We need to be charging more. Somebody just said, whoa. We got more breaking news here. We got more breaking news. Oh my goodness! I told you. I'm gonna have to get off here because I got to get on. We got to do some stuff.
Breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
All right, so already between the deal with China and with this stuff from the pharmaceuticals. Look how quickly this happened. All right. Dow futures jumped 400 points now at 6:30 on Sunday as traders await further details on the USChina trade deal, live updates. So they got a live blog working here. 15 minutes ago, Chinese officials cite substantial progress. So China has underscored what Scott Besson said. Yes, we are moving forward. And it's from Yun Li, the trade representative from China. So all of this is happening as we speak. Well, let's get out of here and start looking at E-Trade and do what you got to do. Call your brokers. Do what you need to do. It says the Dow Jones futures rally 408 points or 1%, and NASDAQ went 1.1 and 1.3. The S&P and NASDAQ futures respectively 1.1 and 1.3. And this was, let me see the time, that it hasn't updated yet, but President Trump just dropped that stuff about the pharmaceuticals. So this was 15 minutes ago. It's a running thing. When it updates with that, it may go up another 400 points. What a time to be alive. Democrats have nothing. You're going to be able to enjoy some prosperity and wealth. It's happening. It's happening, people. It's happening. Oh, my goodness. Wow, thanks for that tip. I forget who said that. Yeah. Ooh, man, that is absolutely huge. Oh, it's on, baby. It's on. See, I know there are some people sitting, and you can talk to them in a chat, who are like, this is going to pass me. I don't have any way to get involved in this. Begin educating yourself. I've been telling people for quite some time. As soon as he got elected in November, I said, start. You can go back to some of my old shows. I was one of the only ones who were saying it. Get ready. I said it. And I'm not saying it to pat myself on the back. I'm saying don't delay now. We're 100 days in. This ride is going to be a nice ride for 4 years. So my coaching talk to you right now is what you see happening in the last couple hours is going to continue happening over the next couple of years. So if you don't have the knowledge, and if you don't have the funds, now is the time to begin looking. It's not too late. Don't feel, wow, I'm missing it. No, you're not missing it. You've missed what's happened thus far, but you don't have to miss what's going to happen in August. You don't have to miss what's going to happen in October. It's going to keep going. Like President Trump said, you're going to see a rocket ship, numbers we've never seen before. Listen to the man. When he tells you this is what's coming, get ready. Don't lament at all. I'm trying to cheer you up. This is your time for prosperity and wealth that you never thought you had possible. Go for it. That's what you have to do. It's gonna go through the roof. Things are going to be so massively good. I mean, people. And I don't say this to say this in a bad way, but there are going to be millionaires made in the next 5 days. I said that before, and it happened. I'm saying it now. It's going to happen. Timing and opportunity. Put those two things together, timing and opportunity, and you can begin seeing what moves you need to do to make sure you're in it. And most people won't talk to you and tell you because I don't know, maybe they're hoarding it for themselves. But I'm like, get in, whatever way you can get in. Pile in a couple people together, learn something. Brat Girl's like, oh, I'm cheered up, all right. Oh my goodness. Ooh, this is gonna be I can't wait for tomorrow already. Cannot wait for tomorrow. Wow. I'm sitting here with a big smile on my face. A huge smile on my face because it's crazy. So let me talk to you real quick about Patriot Addict and the new berry pack. What do we got for a price today? All right. It was $59, it was $69, it was $79, and today looks like. Let me see what the price is today. All right, so it's not the berry pack. I'm sorry. We're just going to talk about the Trump knife. And since I didn't play it yesterday, let me go ahead and play B. Michael Nace's great video that he made about the Trump knife.
Fanfare family. I'm B. Michael Nace, one of the members of Barry Cunningham's channel. One of the things Barry advertises on his channel is the Trump knife. But Barry doesn't really do it so much justice because Barry apparently is not the knife guy that I am. I've got thousands of knives around my house. But this knife is really awesome. One, check this out. This is a power-assisted folding knife with a liner lock. A glass breaker at the tip. The liner lock in the middle. So it won't close on you until you push the liner lock in the middle. Push it and it will fold. This knife is actually quite awesome. And I'm a knife collector. I've been collecting knives for 30 years. This is an amazing knife. And you can get it BarryKnife.com, Barry Cunningham. He can tell you how to get it. I want you to push it to his channel, fanfare.com. This knife is amazing. It's sharp. It's heavy duty. As a matter of fact, it's almost too heavy to carry in a pocket. You'd have to put it on your belt or whatever, but it's a heavy duty knife and it's really nice. So Barry, to you, one of your family members, B. Michael Nace from Fanfare, amazing knife.
All right, so you get the knife. This is what we're doing today. We're doing the knife here today. It's just their way of saying thank you to Trump supporters and the Fanfare family. As Michael showed you, and he's correct, I am not a big knife person, but I will show it to you without stabbing myself. Here it is, the Trump knife. It's really strong. It's a decent sized knife. It's pretty heavy. So I would, be careful with it, but it's a very, very sharp knife. There's a notch here to break windows if you need to, and it also has a seat belt razor, so you can cut a seat belt if you need to do that as well. So this isn't the pack, this is the actual knife, and you can grab yours. The knife is free. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. It's free. All you have to do is pay shipping. I think it's like $13.99 or $14.99. The regular price of the knife is like $70. You can get it for free. Go here to the QR code right there, and you can get the red Trump knife for free. Just pay shipping, which is about $14, and it's yours. And a lot of people have gotten it, so you'll love it. So, or you can go to berryknife.com and grab it for free. Did I say it was free? I'm not sure. Did I? Yeah, I said it was free. SV said there's some people in the chat and they're freaking out because gold went down. Chill. Woosah. Woosah. Do you know why gold went down? Because people are moving it because they want the cash and so they can take advantage of some other stuff. Gold, like I've said to you many times, and I could bring Kevin back on, gold is a hedge. Gold is a protective item. Gold and silver. It's not speculative. So if you had $50,000 in gold right now and you're like, you know what? Let me take 20,000 of this gold out and let's go ahead and put it in XYZ Nvidia, because Nvidia is probably going to go up 12% tomorrow. These people who are doing that understand how they basically at this point are timing the market. Gold does not fluctuate that way. Gold is there as a hedge. In fact, the beginning part of my commercial with them, I say they're a hedge. So when you need safety, people buy gold and they buy silver because they actually have the items. They don't go to zero. They're a hedge. Then when people want to pull out cash and put it into other things, then they're doing the speculation and they're buying stocks right now like crazy, which causes this to go up and this will come down. But eventually they come back up, and you shouldn't be worried about the price of gold fluctuating because it's not that type of an investment. It is a hedge. No one buys gold to get rich. People buy gold to protect themselves. It's always going to be there. You buy these stocks because, well, you're seeing it. I mean, somebody actually posted this and said the Nikkei is up 574 points as well. So what you're seeing right now are people positioning themselves, hey, I got to get a bunch of cash. I got to get this cash because I got to buy this stuff. Because this stuff right now is where I need to be putting some cash in. And then when I get some profit, I'll move some stuff back into gold because that's my safety net. So what I'm explaining to you basically is something called diversification. You play with house money, and if you play with house money because you made some money on the stocks, you move it over here and buy some protective stuff. So whether that protective stuff is real estate, and gold, or silver, Bitcoin, or right now you're playing in this sandbox, and this sandbox is going to be crazy for the next who knows how long. Again, this is why you have to educate yourself when you get involved with certain things to understand what these vehicles actually mean financially. So for the next, I don't know, week, we might see hockey sticks in the market if you pick the right stocks. And then over here, you're going to see some stuff like this. It's not going to be, it's just going to be like this, while people are moving funds around. Then the next thing you're going to see is mortgage rates, because what's going to happen with the T-bills and how is that? I mean, it's crazy. It's going to be crazy. So make sure you are diversified. So if poop hits the fan here, you're okay. Woosah. All this is expected. It's basically tenets, actual tenets of business. Hold on, SB just texted me again. What do you say here? I can't do anything about that. People are worried about us being attacked. Always under attack. Great. I can't deal into manic stuff. Hey, I just won't. Anyway. All right. So with that being said, where am I going right now? Let me see if there's anything new hitting. Before I go, yeah, this pharmaceutical stuff is going to be monstrous. Absolutely, it's everywhere right now. I like what George just said. Yeah, that is true. Pray for Trump. He just declared war against Big Pharma drug cartel, telling gigantic conglomerates that their days of ripping off Americans are over is like an assassination wish. He ain't kidding. Because what do you think is going to happen to those stocks? See, a lot of what you're going to be seeing is profit taking and dumping. Because if I owned any Merck or Pfizer right about now, I'd be like, oh my God, he just killed us. You've seen trading places with Eddie Murphy. Sell! Sell! Get out of Pfizer. Get out of Merck. Oh yeah, get out of those companies because Tesla, Ozempic, crazy. I don't even know how much those things will absolutely drop. What did Doge AI say here? Look at this. Big Pharma's days of exploiting Americans are numbered. The recent executive order cracks down on price gouging by mandating Medicare payment reforms and accelerating biosimilar approvals to break monopolies. Tariffs on foreign-made drugs will force companies to reshore production, ending their reliance on China. The Biden-era Inflation Reduction Act lets bureaucrats negotiate prices, but it's Trump's aggressive stance. Let me move it down. That's finally holding Big Pharma accountable. When U.S. patients pay 4x more, it's not capitalism, it's theft. Time to prioritize American health over corporate greed. I got to believe people in those pharmaceutical companies are maybe jumping out of windows real soon. Real soon. Because it can get really bad real fast for them. But everybody else, just get yourself in a position where, you're okay. You're gonna be all right. You just have to make sure you're okay. So before I go, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about Letitia James, but give me 90 seconds.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so you've been following all the stuff that's been going on about Letitia James, and it's going to get pretty bad for her. And let's look at some of the stuff that's happening with Letitia at this point.
Is launching a criminal investigation into Letitia James over mortgage fraud allegations. The DOJ is probing whether the New York Attorney General misrepresented a home in Virginia as her primary residence to get more favorable loan terms, and whether she bought a 5-family property in Brooklyn with a loan that's meant for homes with 4 units or less. Here with the read on this investigation, former U.S. Attorney Jay Town. Jay, thank you so much for being here. Can you first, just off the top, just give me your read on this investigation? Where do you think it's going?
Well, so there is a grand jury convened in the Eastern District of Virginia, which is Northern Virginia, right outside of D.C. And then the FBI, at least it's being reported, is looking into the Manhattan dwelling in New York. And that would end up probably with the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office if a grand jury were to convene yet. We don't know if that's ongoing or not. But essentially, folks need to understand that a grand jury does not convene just because we call it to. There has to be some predication. By predication, I mean some evidence that a crime may have been committed. And then the grand jury determines if in fact, a crime has been committed. The real, Abby Lowell, who's Tish James's lawyer, has come out and said that this is political retribution. What I would flip and say is that it would be a miscarriage of justice if DOJ were to just spike this case and not go forward with it simply because there's a Democrat who's the AG in New York who targeted the current president, President Trump, in what is widely regarded as a ridiculous investigation and assessment of civil fines and forfeitures. And really, the lawfare that was used against Trump was really to prevent these types of investigations from ever occurring. So we just have to be patient and let the evidence and facts and the law play out.
You mentioned Abby Lowell, Tish James' attorney. He sent a letter last month to the DOJ on these investigations, reading in part, quote, "These baseless and long discredited allegations put to rest my April 24 letter to the Department of Justice are suddenly back in the news just days after President Trump publicly attacked Attorney General James. This appears to be the political retribution President Trump threatened to exact that AG Bondi assured the Senate would not occur on her watch. If prosecutors are genuinely interested in the truth, we are prepared to meet false claims with facts." This is
here's that defense again that they're using. That defense being, it's political retribution. He's coming after me because of what I did to him. That's going to fall on deaf ears, Big Letty. Big Letty, when you took a shot at him and did all the stuff that you could possibly do against President Trump, what did you think was going to happen? That defense isn't going to help you. He's picking on me because I was mean to him. No. If you broke the law, and now, as the gentleman said, if there's a grand jury testimony, if they're putting it in front of grand jury, then they have a predicate, they have reason to look at this, and it's pretty easy to determine. When you're you meet false claims with facts, you know how you put the gag order, or what's that, Merchant put the gag order on Trump? Maybe you need to put a gag order on yourself. You're looking kind of stupid out here, because when they go to prosecute you, it's very simple. Did you sign this loan? Did you say that this was a four-family property and not a five-family property? You got the document. Did you say that this other house was your primary residence? What's the false facts? You either live there or you don't. So I don't know where she's going to go with this and how she could possibly defend herself with something so clear-cut as mortgage fraud. It is probably one of the easiest things to prove because you actually have signed documentation. It's not, hey, listen, we're trying to put some circumstantial evidence together and say the Joe had the knife and he bought the knife and now this looks like the knife that they killed. No. Did you sign this? So how do you have any false claims? I don't know.
To be a very public fight.
It is, and that's just right out of the Abby Lowell playbook. Remember, the Hunter Biden investigation and prosecution and convictions, those were political as well, according to Abby Lowell, and Hunter Biden was really guilty. So it is just lawyers have to do this. They have to be zealous, and I'm fine with that. I don't know that attacking Pam Bondi in this Department of Justice is going to be a great idea. As far as if the facts don't play out as Abby Lowell might see them, I don't know that Tish James is going to get much grace from this DOJ if they're continually attacked by her lawyer.
So this is very early in the investigation. Things are just getting started. But when you look at what they are investigating, you look at these cases that they have their eyes on, what type of charges could possibly follow?
Yeah, well, mortgage fraud is a very common crime that's prosecuted federally. It happens all over the country. It's probably a daily occurrence that someone is indicted in this country for mortgage fraud. And just think of it this way. You are not telling the truth on a mortgage application, whether it's your collateral is worth less or, in this case, the residence that you want the mortgage loan for is not going to be your primary residence. There's lots of reasons to claim the primary residence. One, it's a better rate. Primary resident homeowners are less likely to default because it's their home, right? But secondary homeowners do, and that's just data. So there's advantages to it. And so now that's up to 30 years in federal prison. Now, I will say that the average sentence is between 2 and 4 years in federal prison, but it's a very easily proven offense. And it's
told you it's easy. That's your signature? Yeah. I rest my case, Your Honor. How do you defend it? How do you say it wasn't me? It was an imposter? Are you married to your father? Is that really what's going on here? Oh, no, that was an error. You're an attorney. You're the attorney general. You're not afforded that defense.
Also a very commonly proven offense. So there's a lot of experience inside of this Department of Justice to bring these charges forward.
Well, we will absolutely continue to follow this. And again, the New York Attorney General does deny any of this, accusing the president and his DOJ of being political. We're just going to have to wait. As you said, we have to be patient. J-Town.
You see, that stuff is in the court of public opinion. The grand jury is not going to hear that. The grand jury, when they begin looking at stuff and when they choose to either indict her or not indict her, they're not going to be talking about the Trump case. It has nothing to do with her prosecution of President Trump. It is going to be, here's the evidence, here's this, here's the law, she broke it. Do we have an indictment? And, you know, it's I'm not sure where they're doing it, if they're doing it in Virginia or in New York, but that's it. So right now she's doing a PR campaign to try and drum up public support for her. But it doesn't matter. Maybe she's trying to taint the jury pool. It's too easy. I've seen so many mortgage fraud problems in terms of doing title searches on so many different properties. And it's so, I've never turned anybody in, but I'm like, okay, so now you've got a reason to sell to me cheaper, because otherwise we're going to have to do a quiet title lawsuit where we have to say that this person isn't the real owner, that this person forged the deed and all this other kind of stuff. And it's absolutely nuts. And so it's pretty easy. So let me just tell you about that and real quickly how I'm not saying that Letitia James can steal your house, or she would. That's a full disclaimer. But if you're a homeowner, you need to listen to this. You need to watch what's going on with Letitia James. You need to talk to a mortgage broker, because when's the last time you checked on your home title? You see, that's the legal proof that you own your house. Other people like me can look at it. I can pull up any title anywhere in the country as long as it's online. So if you're like most people, the answer is you probably haven't been checking on an ongoing basis what status your title is. And the problem is, in today's AI world, AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles and getting your equity. That's where they want to go. That's the target. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature and get it notarized on a one-page document called a quitclaim. You can download it anywhere online. Then they use a fake notary stamp, go into the courthouse, pay like $20 and record it. And guess what? The courthouse doesn't do any sort of enforcement. If you got the stamps, meaning the fee and the notary stamp, and you've got the signed deed, they're going to record it. Don't believe me? Call them. At that point that they record it, the title of your property has been transferred out of your name. It's that simple. Then they can take out loans using your equity or even sell your property. You won't even know it's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice in the mail or stuck to your front door. That's why you need to stop what you're doing today and find out today if you're already a victim. Use promo code Barry at HomeTitleLock.com to make sure your title is still in your name. You also get a free title history report plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud should happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. And why $1 million? Because if someone does change the title, you're basically SOL. Because at that point, you're going to have to hire an attorney to go get it fixed. You're likely not going to be able to do it on your own. And that's when the meter starts running. And that's why they provide the $1 million, protection. So go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Use promo code Barry, and that's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Barry. Now, one thing I want to tell you, because some people have texted me and emailed me, and have done certain things, and I try to let them know. Yes, you can absolutely check your title for free yourself, if you know how. So when some people say, is that a scam? Because people love to say stuff like that. No, I've said many times, I could also go to Home Depot and buy myself a lawnmower. But I pay someone to do the lawn. I pay someone to clean the pool. Could I do it? Yeah. But I have convenience. And so having something like Title Lock, Home Title Lock, is more for convenience than saying you can't do it on your own. And many people just don't know how, and then it happens, and it's too late at that point. All right, so there's no jump over party tonight. It's Sunday, Mother's Day. I'm going to go spend some time with the wife, so I can't do another hour over at Rumble. Tomorrow looks like it's shaping up to be a big, 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 big day. But I do have some more.
Breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
All right, so in closing, wow, this man does not sleep. He does not sleep. So I told you about it earlier. He has now confirmed it. I am happy to announce that Eden Alexander, an American citizen who has been held hostage since October 2023, is coming home to his family. I'm grateful to all those involved in making this monumental news happen. This was a step taken in good faith towards the United States and the efforts of the mediators in Qatar and Egypt to put an end to this very brutal war and return all living hostages and remains to their loved ones. Hopefully this is the first of those final steps necessary to end this brutal conflict. I look very much forward to that day of celebration. Well, it's only 7 o'clock. Who knows? He's still got plenty of time to do some more stuff. Good gosh. Good gosh, man. You imagine being in the media trying to keep up with this dude? That's absolutely nuts. Oh, good gosh. Let's see. Happy Mother's Day to all you mama patriots. Yes. Barry, gold is crashing. I just explained to you. Chill. Do I look worried? You hear Robin knocking on the door? You think she's worried? No. Diversification. Diversification. That's what you got to do. Big day tomorrow for sure. Big day. Let's see what happens here. All right, so let me go and do the super chat so you guys can go spend time with the loved ones and enjoy your Sunday evening. Mark Levin comes on in a little while. I don't know what's been going on with him. He's been getting kind of funky too. Have you noticed that? Getting ticked off at people. A lot of people ticked off these days. Not understanding why, but it seems to be happening. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some super chats. All right, what do we got here? Let me go back to the top. Thank you guys very much. R. Heath, $4.99. Wildberry goosebumps. I hope he's wary of Scott Bessent. Why? He's doing a deal. Starfleet Tech, happy Mother's Day to all moms. To you as well. And your family. Peter Ortez, like what Chuck said, unleash the whirlwind upon them Democrats. That's for sure. I saw the light. Don't forget CNN covered only one of Trump rallies. They knew something. Kind of odd, wasn't it? Peter Ortez, I love how DJT outsmarted the rhinos in the Senate with the temporary appointment of Judge Janine by blocking the woke judge from appointing a D.C. attorney. Boom. Big chess match. Ron Rose. Oh, and I hear he may be appointing Ed Martin as a special counsel. Ron Rosacool, happy Mother's Day to all wonderful moms. I saw the light. Happy Mom's Day bittersweet. Lost my dad 2 years ago today. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And on the greatest sister-in-law birthday, whom was sitting at Dad's right as I sat his left side. Oh, man, that's sad. Sad, Patty. Amira Roach. Bear, I just purchased my first stock ever through Robinhood. Congratulations. You're in the game. Chapo, they should have let them go in facility by themselves and open a cell so they can interact with the Maryland fathers. That would have been perfect. Donna, why do I have butterflies in my stomach? Yeah, now you know. Jose Gonzalez, Barry, but the president announces the end of the IRS. It wasn't that, but it was almost as good. R. Heath, bring it on. This is our last chance. I am Planet Hermit. We are left with no incentives to sue for peace. Ruth declared Democratic leadership a terrorist organization. That would be nice. Kathleen, DEI, gender identity, and atheism are all tenets of communism need to keep the masses confused and poor for ultimate government control. You got that right. All right, Pox, how much is $1 billion? If you count one number per second without stopping, it will take approximately 31 years to count to $1 billion. Wow. Brian Newland, hey, elected officials, when you do something illegal, you get arrested. Exactly. Mama Mima, apparently they're against genocide unless it's against Jews and white people. Truth Sleuth, the plaintiff's lost. I forgot to make that clear. Sorry about that. Job for 9. Great time to be alive. Let's keep our eye on the prize. No IRS and getting back to the gold standard. Hallelujah. What happens to crypto next week? Up or down if people are pulling money to put in stocks? Crypto people are usually pretty staid. They don't move around too much, but diversify. Job for 9. Pray for our POTUS because last time he said Big Pharma was trying to get him. Do you remember? Yes, I do. Yeah, it's definitely a dangerous time right now with what he's doing. Billions and billions of dollars are at stake here. Trump will have to have tribunes, military tribunes to stop the judges. And I love what Trump is doing for our economy. It's fixing to explode. As it should. There's nothing holding back our economy but what the Democrats did. Jesse Brown, when pharmaceuticals price drop, insurance rates should also be able to come down because they won't be forking out as much money. Great point. Patty Siebold, I hope this ends pharmaceutical benefit pricing. A lot of things are, like you said, somebody said earlier, how do you fight this if you're a Democrat? I can't wait to see some of the things that they're posting. I am seeing on, I think of all the money Big Pharma is losing over cancer patients, especially the ones they bankrupted with all their radiation, chemo, and tests. Wow. Neo, you're absolutely right. Buckle up, MAGA. Let's go, Trump train on full speed. Definitely buckle up. It's going to get crazy. Cuckoo Kachunin. Americans paying more for pharmaceuticals because we pay for the advertising. Peter Ortiz. Karma is a Tish. Fanny Tish, corrupt judges, mayors, those people run. Pam is coming. Donna, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And thank you, Donna. And Dave Rutan, gold is down. Great time to buy. Thank you, Barry, for all you do. Yes, timing and opportunity. And there's something that didn't pop up there, but Truth Sleuth said this. Thank you, Truth Sleuth. Man, you rock. You rock. Hold on. All right, so let me read this. Look at Hedges versus Obama. Journalists filed suit in federal district court against Obama by challenging the legality of Section 102. Blah, blah, blah. It permits the feds to indefinitely detain individuals suspected of supporting terrorist organizations. Oh. Ooh, that could be absolutely huge. Wow. All right, thanks, everybody. I'm going to have to look that one up. Thank you very much. I might have to include that in the show tomorrow. What's it called again? Hold on. Hedges versus Obama. Let me look that up, because that may be something we need to know very soon. Wow. All right, everybody. Looks like I'm probably going to be bright and early tomorrow, depending on when they do the announcement. So I'll keep you posted, but thanks for tuning in on a Sunday evening. God bless the moms. All you moms out there, God bless you. And it's a great time to be alive. We're going to do the regular after party right now. There you go.
News.